We're seeing threats of violence. We're seeing threats of armed confrontation and assault on our capital. State intelligence analysts have identified threats and violent rhetoric similar to what has been seen before other major events, such as Charlottesville.
Virginia Governor Ralph Northam has declared a state of emergency and temporarily banned weapons from the grounds of the state capitol after 6 suspected neo-Nazis were arrested in Virginia and Georgia ahead of a gun rights rally planned in Richmond, Virginia tomorrow, also known as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The rally has attracted the interest of members of an online extremist group that calls itself, quote, the base, which weirdly and coincidentally is the English translation of Al-Qaeda. And not to be done by racist online trolls, the President of the United States stoked up tensions further via Twitter, attacking the ban on weapons in the Capitol, which is temporary and designed to prevent a repeat of the deadly violence in Charlottesville, where activist Heather Heyer lost her life in the summer of 2017. Joining me now is Daryl Lamont Jenkins, Executive Director of One People's Project, and Mark Thompson, host of the podcast Make It Plain. Thank you both for being here. And Daryl, let me start with you. Trying to explain this Lobby Day, which is an annual event for this gun rights group. And the Lobby Day, according to Vox.com, is an annual event for the Virginia Citizens Defense League, a pro-gun rights group, normally attracting a few hundred gun rights activists to Richmond to lobby members of the state government. This year, Virginia is on the cusp of actually passing gun control laws because Democrats won so many victories there. Talk a little bit about them. A little bit about this group, The Base, that the FBI has been paying attention to, and how do you assess the threat level on Monday?
Well, I assess the threat level as being a lot more than just rhetoric on the part of a lot of individuals. We have seen that the characters that they picked up from The Base or who are reputed to be in The Base, we're coming there with weapons, with explosives. They mean to do some harm. And we have them communicating those threats of violence online and verbally to people who unfortunately who are encouraging them from the mainstream. I don't want to mention any names right now, but the fact of the matter is we are seeing the same people who were in Charlottesville, the same exact people who are in Charlottesville, basically coming out to be a part of this. However, there are other white supremacists, other hate mongers that were in Charlottesville and abroad that are trying to discourage them from coming out because they are afraid that this is a setup, and if you're in the capital area, you're going to be in a kill zone. So it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a total mess. We don't know what to expect. I'm going to be there on Monday, but we're basically going to pull back and just see how things unfold.
Yeah, this is according to the New York Times about this group, The Base. The FBI has grown increasingly concerned about the base as it works to recruit new people. The group encourages the onset of anarchy, according to the Counter Extremism Project, an organization that tracks far-right extremists. And experts say its founder, an American, appears to be living in Russia. This is according to Vox for you, Mark. There are 3 new bills that are on the table that are being proposed in Virginia, which again now is run by Democrats won a lot of victories there and have basically running the state now, that would require background checks, that would limit the number of handguns that can be purchased per month, and that would ban guns from certain events in government buildings. We know that Virginia is kind of a supermarket for guns that wind up in places like New York and around the country. What do you make of the fact that this group has chosen to protest those new bills on King Day?
Well, first of all, and thanks as well for having me, Joe. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
They have chosen Virginia, obviously, because the NRA is a resident of Virginia. Their headquarters is right there. This is ground zero for the NRA. What obviously doing this on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday is repulsive and blasphemous. As a matter of fact, some of the first gun legislation, which was proposed by LBJ, was right after Dr. King was assassinated. And then the debate went further when Bobby Kennedy was assassinated just 2 months later. This is an ongoing struggle around this Second Amendment argument. They obviously want to exploit it, and they want to use Dr. King's Day, all in keeping with what Charlottesville was all about. If you're going to have a neo-Nazi gun rally on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. What's the difference between that and Charlottesville? And now you have Trump tweeting about it. So is he going to say both sides, many sides again, if something happens? But what none of them seem to realize, as you said, Joy, the legislature has the votes to do this because Democrats won the legislature in 2018. In 2017, Democrats won the governor's mansion, which is rare consecutively in Virginia. Why did Democrats win the governor's mansion? Why did Democrats win the state legislature? Because of Charlottesville. So it's really ridiculous for him to even say Republicans will win Virginia in 2020. If something terrible goes down tomorrow, or even if it doesn't, just their very presence there will probably guarantee Democrats once again will win whatever seats there are to win in Virginia in 2020.
Yeah, we just want to point out that this Virginia Citizens Defense League, I think Mark is saying they are a neo-Nazi group, just that neo-Nazis were attracted to the event. Just want to make sure that we're clear on that. Let's play Heather Heyer, whose daughter, who lost her daughter in the Charlottesville hell that took place. And Heather Heyer's mom, her mom is named Susan Bro, and she was on the Today Show, and here she is.
I think what people often don't realize is that an ordinary white kid can easily get sucked into that. And so if parents are trying to value their children's privacy, value their children's space, they might want to check in a little more often, be a little more aware of what's going on. So often the kid that you least expect is the one who's deeply embroiled in the white supremacist movement. It's very seductive.
Daryl Lamont Jenkins, this is your area of expertise. What do you make of her advice?
Well, see, here's the important thing to remember as we deal with Richmond. I do not believe that the gun issue is the main issue. I doubt that sincerely. You have a legislator that is in a safe house right now because of legislation he wants to get passed that has nothing to do with the issue of guns, and they're angry at him because they're filing death threats against him and all that. I think that when it comes to those young people out there who get caught up in this kind of nonsense, it's going to cost them, and we see how much it cost them after Charlottesville. The same thing is going to happen if they're a part of this. I encourage many people who are still trying to be involved in this kind of nonsense to give it up, to knock it off. This is not the kind of society that is going to go forward that way. And if you insist on being a part of it, you're going to be X'd out.
Yeah, and there isn't the white ethno-state thing. It's not going to happen. What do you make of the fact? What do you make of the fact, Mark, that Jerry Falwell Jr. Says that he will call for civil disobedience if Virginia Democrats implement these gun laws? Your thoughts?
That's ridiculous, and I doubt very seriously there will be many Virginians who participate in that. He ought to get out of that too. This is just another opportunity Donald Trump is taking, an opportunist that he is, to try to exploit what really is a sacred holiday. How do you engage in something promoting guns on the day in which the very dreamer was assassinated with a gun? But this is his modus operandi, and he's trying to appeal to his base in the hopes that will help him in 2020 and probably also distract from this impeachment, but it's not going to work.
Yeah, Daryl Lamont Jenkins and Mark Thompson, thank you very much. And in advance, wishing you guys a wonderful and hopefully peaceful MLK Day. Thank you guys both.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. More AM Joy next.